So we're back.
We're back for episode, not 3. What episode is this?
197.
197. 197 in your ears. 3
in your eyes. Corey's husband, who has not listened to 195 episodes, watched this last episode, and it had some way too constructive feedback and no positive. There was no compliments in it.
He said, at least you guys can say that you're genuine. He said, I sang too much. He said, I thought you did that in the privacy of our own home. I can see that it's not just behind closed doors that you
got a song to sing. You sing, little girl.
Heather plays with her hair too much. It's up.
And I want to let you know, I plan to do that again.
But welcome to the Baking It Down podcast. If you're tuning in for the first time, welcome. We're actually a spinoff from a group that's on Facebook. There's about 47,000 bakers that are in that group. And from that group, we can see, trends. We can see what people are struggling with.
Can I read some group stats?
I thought that was so entertaining.
When you run a Facebook group, Meta gives you some pretty limited statistics.
Like how far does it go back?
On some, you can only do it from desktop if you want to go farther back than 60 or 28 days. But you can go back for the year almost. So I gathered the facts together.
So the group has been around for how long?
October 2020.
So almost we're heading towards our 5th year, which is crazy to think.
Yeah, it's wild.
It's wild.
So here's the stats. This is from February 4th, 2024 to February 2nd, 2025. So it's just shy of the year.
Okay.
It's 2 days worth. How many posts do you think were made in the last 362 days?
Oh, in the last year-ish?
Yeah.
I don't know. There's so many posts that go up.
See, here's a wild part. Because we delete every post for the Vendy Blending.
I know.
In the reporting, it shows you as a gap in posts. Like, posts take a dramatic decline.
It didn't log them in?
No. It seems like when they are deleted, they're truly deleted.
There's so many posts that we delete for the Vendy Blending.
And the ones for the rule breaking as well.
True.
So what squeaked on through was 8,375, and that's 0.17 posts per person on average. So we're not, for a group of 47,338, that's pretty low considering we delete 3 months of content each year.
I know.
And this year was pretty long.
Get your questions out there.
But here's what I find. This is indicative of this group is highly managed. The posts are getting deleted a lot, but the comments is kind of where I put my metric on group value.
Okay.
Because when somebody has a question, if they had 50 answers, that's a really strong group, unless they're all customer bashing. We got another problem. So that for the 8,375 posts that made it through, and I assume when you delete a post, you delete its comments as well. Like I
think so.
There's 138,700 comments, and that's almost 3 comments per user.
Wow.
Then we have power users and then people who lurk or muted the group. But on average, that shows that if you ask a question here, you're gonna
get an answer.
Yeah. Of that, reactions, it reports on reaction metric, which goes to show me the takeaway here is that Facebook's watching everything. It's not watching just the comments. It's seeing reactions and it's tabulating them. Because I think it's indicative of a point of reach, like engagement, more reactions and stuff. So 340,000 reactions, and that's about almost 8 reactions per user.
That's insane.
In the group, yeah. And then active members. This one is my bread and butter. This is the metric that group admin would focus on. And this is how many users are in the group, 47,338. That number is a misleading number because how many active members are what matters. And that's 38,664, which is 81.6% of the group is active.
I want to say that's pretty crazy because you have to think the group has been around for going on 5 full years. And from that, a lot of people come and go from their sugar cookie businesses.
Yes.
So to have the majority of the people still active is wild.
I know, which is great. And then moving here, we have just random stats. I like to see this stuff. The most posted today. Can you guess?
Okay, hold on. Friday?
I would have thought it was Friday. No, it's actually a pretty dead day. It's Wednesday.
Oh, really?
I'm not sure if Wednesday wins has an effect on that or if the Wednesday news. I'm not sure, but that's the most posted today.
I would never have guessed that.
Most posted time on average across the week.
Hold on. I want to say 6 p.m.
8 p.m. But it was between 6 and 8.
Oh,
kind of range in 7.
Nice.
Current membership is 47,338. Number 1 city. This one threw me a bit.
I want to say somewhere in Texas.
No, it was New York. And the reason why I think is because Texas is the largest majority of people in the group, but their individual cities are very scattered.
Oh.
So New York was a single city with most members, followed by San Antonio.
Oh, and then I thought maybe Orlando, Florida. I don't know why I feel like there's a ton of bakers in Florida.
I don't know that there are. I think that CookieCon sells out, and that's what makes
Maybe
us
that
think
would
there
be
are. I think,
why.
but everyone's flying over.
Yeah.
And then how many % female versus male do you think there are?
Okay, I did see this one, so I came in.
It's always been this.
I didn't
98% to 2%. I can almost tell you who the dudes are. And then what do you think is the highest represented age group of 31% of our members?
I want to say maybe 30 to 35.
34 to 44.
Oh.
I did in a range of 10.
Oh.
So that was pretty interesting.
That was very interesting. I am slow to let people in the group. There's about 8,500 pending people.
There's a reason for that. Corey and I talk about what is the metric of a group that is indicative of a healthy, growing group. And I don't think it's membership.
You would think as admins we want the biggest group out there. That's not a valuable group. Numbers game is just a vanity metric. And at the end of the day, it's a quality, valuable group that members want to engage with is important.
And I think even as bakers who are growing on Instagram, you want that big, fancy, juicy number.
For sure.
And then on the flip side, you're like, these are people all coming from ASMR and they all complain.
Right.
Same with a group. So you'd say, I want a large group. I can turn around to a sponsor and say, look at all the people I can reach. But on the flip side, like I found this group. There's private groups, which is sugar cookie marketing, and public groups, which anyone can see even if they don't join. And it's starting in sourdough. It has 1 million
Sourdough
members.
for beginners.
Sourdough for beginners. 1 million members. So I sorted by new posts. They were averaging 5 posts a minute.
That's wild. Ooh. But here's the thing. 5 posts a minute. But the way the algorithm works is one post will take off. That post is going to get the comments. It's usually typically...
And then the other ones were kind of like little orphans with no comments.
Yeah.
No reaction. So it's kind of crazy to see how Facebook treats those public groups versus these private groups.
So this year we've been going for quality over quantity.
Forget
quantity.
Yeah.
We're letting you out
quantity.
So what I look at when someone's trying to join the group, because the people come from Instagram, people come from TikTok, our Facebook page, is people that are saying like want to learn decorating cookies probably isn't the best person for the sugar cookie marketing group because you're already a little bit established. So I want someone that has a meaty answer like, I don't know how to take photos and I'm looking to learn. So that's what I'm looking for on the entry questions.
So
not
all that says you ain't getting in.
You can get in if I have 5 minutes.
Ain't getting in. But it's very interesting to manage a group. Corey and I, in February, if you're not in the group, go join it. Because we said, what is the admin's job? It's one to manage and group rules and stuff like that. It's, protect the members. But it's also creating interactive content that gets people to the group for when the user who truly needs help makes their post, the group will reach more.
Just like if you go to a work event, typically you only know the host. The host is what brought everybody there. It's the host's job to connect.
Hostess with the mostest. And you do that, and I hate to say it, through icebreakers.
Heather did a Texas roll call where you had, so now in that post, you can see who's near you.
So if you get looking at my post and you're like, Heather's making a lot of weird, like, hey, comment a GIF or whatever. It's my job to get people to comment there because then it shows your question to more people when you need an answer.
Yeah.
But also, Corey and I thought it would be fun to do February freebies, fall in love with a freebie each day.
This is what they said. Who's the generation under us if we're millennials? Z? Gen Z does hearts like this. Do you see this?
You'll love.
It's got to look like,
you'll love. Gen Z, look at me. Look at me.
You'll love
what we're doing. I thought Gen Z did it with the
They've abandoned that and they've gone to this. This was...
You have to use your third. Oh, yeah, it's the third. I think your third finger has to be the bottom.
The third finger the bottom?
Calm down. Gen Z, I can talk to you.
Okay, my millennial friends.
Let's do the teacup pose, millennial pause, and hearts like that. So, yeah, that is interesting. So if you want to join the group, I have some. I'm pushing myself with this February.
You are.
Thing. I really wanted to get into Illustrator more. I want to get into Procreate more. So I'm building these from scratch.
Oh, nice. People were obsessed with your, whatever the heart STL was.
They're going to love the cookie tag today. And I think tomorrow I have a chocolate box transfer.
Nice.
And then I'm working on some and I said I was going to sprinkle on some Easter stuff because we're a little bit behind.
We are. But that's just us to show love for you guys. It's 14 days of freebies.
And also to get more people to engage with the content so that when you have your question, as good stewards of the group, you get better answers.
And if Heather didn't create a little FOMO, everything only lasts 24 hours.
And people are like, that's so annoying. And I'm like, yeah, it is. But you see what our goal is, to get you to come back every 24 hours for 14 days.
Yes.
So
yes.
I understand it's frustrating. I hate it for you. I hate everything I'm doing for you. So moving on to today's podcast topic, we want to talk about Susan Reed.
The reason why we do want to enter Susan Reed into the chat is because, one, scams are becoming...
Susan Reed has never left the chat.
She's never left the chat. She became a little quiet.
She has rebranded as a new scam.
Right now, scams are so prevalent, specifically in the sugar cookie world. And it's a lot of scams, and they use roughly the same copy, but it's always a different name. And I got one yesterday, and they needed corporate cookies for February 14th. So it would light up my soul if I was a baker and I got an order like that.
And that's what, actually, we're not talking about scams in general. We're talking about why these scams are so effective and how you can be Susan Reed yourself.
Yeah, but do keep an eye out. There's a lot of scams going around.
Yeah, anything that sounds corporate, quick, and easy. That's a red flag.
Too good to be true.
We need to suffer through the order and take process to realize it's true. So Susan Reed is the name of this podcast, but the content is about the ways in which those scams work so well is something we can actually take into our own business. Number one, being exceptionally consistent.
So one thing that Susan Reed will do is she will be in your inbox.
She'll be there. She'll be there. She knows exactly what she wants. She has blue hearts. And now these new scammers, corporate orders, they need it within 2 weeks. They're here's to sing, here's everything.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then that's a big thing of how the scam works. And also its undoing is how many people receive those emails. So the scammers working off of like a fishnet, if we send this email out to 1,000, 100,000 bakers, odds of people falling for it are higher. All we need is 5 people. All we need is 10 people to make the mistake to, if you guys don't understand how the scam works, it's nothing about cookies. It's about the payment.
Unfortunately.
And they'll overpay you, which sounds great because not only did you get your bag, you got somebody else's, and then they'll just ask you to refund the overpayment, which is about $100. You got paid $1,000 with $100, but when your bank catches that there was actually not even $1,000, let alone $1,100, you're out that $100. So the scam is genius because it works on a lot of psychological levels, but mostly, let's start this one, be consistent. And I said to Corey the other day, I'm not worried about our competition. I'm worried about our biggest competition is ourselves being inconsistent.
Yeah. Consistency is the make it or break it. You do not have to be the best sugar cookie baker. Your royal icing doesn't need to be the cleanest of lines. If you are consistent, you will beat out those who are inconsistent.
In marketing, okay, there's one thing about baking skill. Just showing up, you'll get better lines and better consistency over time. But in marketing, consistency really levels the playing field. There can be somebody who is, I'm going to say this, crumble cookie, right?
Yeah.
They are not the most aesthetically pleasing cookies. No. They're consistent. Because of the corporate, you have to post the weekly
menu drop each week.
You're going to get it, and it's going to be posted weekly, and they're going to post to socials.
Yeah.
So even an unattractive cookie and decent branding and really consistent marketing can just power through a lot of there's a lot of cookie companies now. There's Insomnia cookies here.
There is.
Crumble cookies. There's Midnight, I think.
I think you're right.
Up.
Yeah.
And then we have all the bakers. And we're like, oh my goodness, how are we going to compete? You're just going to be consistent. And then a lot of people like to say market saturation. Again, just consistency.
Here's the thing. When we signed up to be sugar cookie bakers, we did not necessarily know that we were signing up to be content creators, social media marketers, email newsletter senders, photography enthusiasts.
It's really 17 hats.
It's absolutely a thing. But when life gets busy, the thing that takes the biggest backseat is consistency in your marketing. Whether you're like promised to send out a newsletter, you promised to drop a new menu each week, you wanted to roll something out, and then it just like you ghost your socials.
I know, which is so funny to me. Corey and I have worked in marketing. You worked in sales. I mean, we got decades between us, right?
Yeah.
And we always say the first thing businesses cut is the one thing that keeps the doors open. They always cut marketing first because it seems superfluous. Like, we don't need to post to social. We just got to keep the lights on. But I want to be like, you can't keep the lights on without marketing.
Right.
So a lot of people in there like, and you will see it definitely as we get to these slower months. We get the uptick in Easter and stuff, and then we get to the J months. And you'll see people in there like, I just can't make any sales. I've tried everything. You were inconsistent when it was time to
Even
plan.
from December into the end of January, a lot of bakers will take off because they had so many sales. They spent endless nights decorating in December. They earned their month off in January, and then
The
it comes
repercussions
to
of that, it does take 6 months to see that big break you took over here. And you were like, Tap, why aren't people ordering from me? Because you planted a seed here and it's sprouting over here. The seed of inconsistency versus the seed of consistency. Corey and I say we are many things. We're described by many adjectives, but one is consistent.
Yeah.
And I said, and I've always described Corey, I'm less consistent than you are. But I've always described Corey as a locomotive. It may not be going in the right direction, but it is going.
But it's going to go in that direction.
And it won't stop. The brakes do not work on that locomotive. So in a weird way, Corey's so consistent that it keeps me
I want to say that my brain has to have, what is it when you know what to expect each day? Not a habit, but you got a list that you got to just blow through. I love blowing through that list. And if it's, you have to make a post here.
That list did not know what would come for it. It's a big takeaway from consistent is don't get on Corey's bad list. You will never, ever, ever get
it bad.
Nate, if you're watching this.
Nate's on my bad list for giving us reprimanding, unwanted and needed feedback. If he's at work. He's not at work.
Do I have a big red dot on that one? Is it recording?
Is big red dots.
Does this guy have a red dot?
Red dots.
Okay, great.
Red
Number
dots.
2, this is Corey's. Never take no for an answer.
Okay, I don't want to say like be annoying to like people. Here's the thing. If you're reaching out to a venue to do a cookie class.
If anyone was a group expert on being annoying, I would take your advice.
Bing, bing. And I learned from the best. If you're reaching out to a venue for a cookie class, a lot of times a venue that is in a space that you currently work in might not know the benefits of partnering with a local baker. So you could send hey, do you mind if I could use your venue for a cookie class? And you could get an instant no. Or, like most, no response whatsoever.
I think we kind of touched on this last week. No response is still an opportunity to be like, hey, like I can't read a room. Is there any way we can work together? Let's talk on pricing. Let's talk on, like, first you want to lead with what do I give up the least?
Yes.
Like, hey, can I just use your room for free? I'll bring foot traffic. Nothing. You're like, hey, I'm so interested. So many people have recommended this. Is there any way we can work on the price, or maybe it can help you with marketing? Things like that. I think a lot of times, and I myself is so included in this, like when I get a no or when I get no reply, I'm like, whatever. Like, it is what it is. When in reality, there's still a lot of opportunity left on the table until they're like, get away from me with your cookies, please. Until there's a restraining order. But it's never take that no for an answer. I think a lot of times we see like, they didn't reply back to my quote.
Yeah.
Okay, say hey, reply to a non-quote. And we talked about this also last week. To somebody who ghosts a quote, within 3 days, say like, hey, I'm really excited. I've been thinking about this set for the last 3 days. I would love to be able to work with you on it. If price is an objection here, is there something we can work on? We can, scale the set down, or we can do a few designs. But this is something I really would like to do.
What I like to do if I have a set that I really want to do, I'd be like, hey, I am just firming up my calendar. I would love to take your order. I'm going to need to know if you want to move forward by tonight at around 5 o'clock so I can start prepping for everything I need for your order. That way they know when the door is closed.
Right.
There's not this, I don't know, they didn't say anything back.
Right. Also, you need to do that so people aren't showing up at the last minute. But yeah, so you see that Susan Reed, she is, a lot of times, we actually started deleting these posts where people engage with scammers and kind of troll them. By all means, continue to do it. Just doesn't add a ton of marketing value. So outside of asking if it's a scam, we just delete it. That said, those scammers are never offended. They are never offended.
It's water off the old back.
That one wasn't it. Let me go to the next one. And I think that there is something to be said that even being, some of the bakers will take it like almost too far. Like almost be like, that's costing you money, your time. But they're like, it's not you. I'll move on to the next one.
I remember when I was working like in corporate office work, a lot of times people would reach out and they'd either like want to send something. This is the same thing for if you want to reach corporate orders, the person you're reaching out to has a million things going on during the day, and your thing is probably the last on their list, but it's still a good idea. So they might be like, oh, that's good. And then you just out of sight, out of mind, they've gone down to their next things. You giving up right there because you didn't get the answer you wanted, you could be sacrificing a whole lot of profits and corporate orders down the road.
Andrea Forte, if she listens to this, she's like in my head. She's an accountant by trade, and she taught a live on Profit First. But anyways, I tag her in anytime there's anything about accountants. So she had emailed me. And I'd gotten 1,000 emails that day, and I totally forgot to. We had the correspondence, but she needed a reply, And she's like, hey, just want to make sure this didn't fall off your desk. And I said, you know what? I have to admit, it did. And thank you so much for circling back because I owed you a reply. I completely forgot. My inbox got
And that is not taking no for an answer. Like, she could have been, like, in her feels about it, like, Heather
ignored me because she wanted to do this. But in reality, she was like, hey, just want to make sure this doesn't fall off the plate.
Because if I know Heather, she's a million ideas that she wants to do, and she'll start them. Heather has, I don't know, the worst memory I have ever encountered in my life.
Even I'm flabbed.
Horrendous.
By sometimes the things that I forget.
Heather will retell me a story the next day. Not have things forgot that she told me.
I'm like, now I do this thing. Like, if I already tell you this, let me know. If not, we're going to go through it again.
So you got to remember, there's people like Heather who have a million things that are going on, maybe have bad memory.
And I try to tell people, like, I have a really bad memory so that they understand that that's a big crux. There's things I will not remember.
I wouldn't promise you, Heather has the worst memory.
Who are you? What is this? The podcast? We've been doing a podcast?
Yeah, so don't take no for an answer. If you want to, be consistent. And you can, we're not idiots. You can read a room. When the answer is no, it's going to be a no, and you can move on to the next.
When hostility enters the chat, you can back away slowly. But at the end of the day, it's also a great time to see if your pitch, like, they didn't warm up to that. Maybe I can send this a different way. This one, and this is a tough one, cold outreach on repeat. Cold outreach versus warm outreach. Warm means we've already talked. There's already a relationship. So let's say Corey ordered from me a year ago. I have a CRM program because I'm really on top of things because I can't remember. And it's like, hey, just so you know, Corey ordered a 1-year-old's birthday, so likely she'll need a 2-year-old's birthday. And I'll be like, hey, Corey, just circling back around. I know it's around that time you placed that birthday order last year. Firming up my calendar. I'd love to bake for you if it's something you were interested in. That's a warm lead. The odds are we already know each other, so she's going to reply.
Yeah.
Now imagine Corey and I have never met. Somehow I get her email address and I send her a cold email. She does not know who I am. That is rough. The lack of open rates and reply rates to cold email is like 90%. It's so high. But cold outreach does work. You just have to be able to, like we said with the other one, never take no for an answer, be consistent and not be offended. Some people do get offended with cold email. You have to be very careful how you secure that email and outreach to people. But consider this. Let's say you go to a networking event. Mm-hmm. Don't they typically give you either the business cards or a list of emails?
They do.
We have a list of emails. It's not the coldest because we were there in the same room.
Yeah.
But not necessarily did we talk. The networking events here are around 50 people. So
you might not have mingled over to the other group.
Hopefully we did our 30-second sales pitch so it's not completely frozen, but it's de-thawing. And we're going to outreach. Let's say we're a baker and there's a kitchen remodeler, which is a likelihood of these types of events. Or a real estate agent.
Always a real estate agent.
Real estate agent is kind of like kingpin at these events from what I've seen. So we want to offer the real estate agent that we're going to bake for their new clients, right? So it's a very takey email. But cold outreach would be like, hey, real estate agent, I didn't get to talk to you, but I saw you and heard your pitch at event. I really liked what you said when you said something in there 30 seconds, which is worth taking notes, my forgetful people. And then say, hey, pitching this right here, tell me to scram if you don't like it. You sell a house, I bake the house into a cookie. It'll save you money because it's cheaper than whatever, I think Ashley
a lot of them do like
ring doorbell.
Like giant charcuterie things.
And say it'll be a really unique thing. Typically I see people love to post photos of it, especially when I can recreate the front doorstep.
And here's a look at one that I did for someone in Springfield.
Yeah, imagine the Eddie printer on the for sale sign. You can recreate for that real estate agent. Real estate agents love themselves. They love themselves. You put their face, you put that print on a cookie, they're going to eat it up literally and figuratively. But cold outreach is tough. But Suzy Reed does not care.
Suzy Reed says, you know what? I might be told no 99 times, but I only am looking for that one yes.
Now cold outreach has integrated AI.
That's
and
unfortunate.
I get it a lot. So they'll have, just so you know, Susan Reed isn't a lady sitting behind a computer. It's a script, and when somebody replies, it triggers to the scammers, like, engage with this one. But we get a lot of people who just peruse I think we're highly listened, some real small niche on podcasts.
Believe it. Yeah.
And it'll be like, hey, Heather, I really like what you said in episode 195, where you pointed out Corey sings a lot. And I'm like, you didn't listen to this at all, but you had AI kind of do a synopsis, which is pretty interesting how they get it. And that cold outreach is a rough one. It would never be my primary lead source. It is a lot of companies' primary lead source.
It is.
Moving on, Corey can speak to this one. Concise and clear communication.
a lot of times, me and Heather, sometimes we write in elongated sentences, but Heather likes to break it up with paragraphing. The things that are important are in bold. Sometimes if you are doing cold outreach, you're reaching out to a venue, they don't want to know your life story. As much as we love where you came from and you grew up and how you met your husband, it doesn't always add value to the person you're trying to pitch. So clear, concise can actually win you the sale. I know when I sold cars back in the day, they're always like, don't insert something that can cause an objection. We don't want to create our own roadblocks in the sale. The more you say, the more opportunity you have for roadblocking.
And I think we help talk our clients into, like, I know it sounds expensive, and they're like,
now it's expensive?
Yeah. I know this is a lot for a cookie. Like, that's a lot for a cookie. It is a lot for a cookie. And it's that clear and concise communication really cuts through.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your inquiry. I would love to quote you. For X amount of cookies for this date, you're looking at this price. Let me know where to send the invoice and we can move along and go ahead. That's clear and concise. It's assuming the sale. They didn't reach out to you because they want to be your friend, and they didn't reach out to you for like budgeting tips and tricks. They reached out to you because they wanted cookies and because you make them. So saving them the trouble and saving them your life story is going to help you make the sale versus talking yourself out of the sale. The more words you say, the more opportunity you have to lose it. It might just be something that you say. You could rub them wrong. I know some people are like, I don't like when someone calls me sweetheart. Okay, that's why we're taking out the extraneous and we're just leaving in the things that get straight and to the point.
You know what's a new feature? I was in my inbox the other day, and I think Google has pushed out AI summarizing emails to everybody. So I'm going to actually see if I can pull it up here. Or maybe, summarize this email. So Corey was talking to Flip Insurance people.
Okay.
There's an email here where she's trying to get them to sign up to teach a Facebook Live for you guys. So let's just click summarize this email and see what happens. And I haven't read your email. This is a summary.
Okay.
2 bullet points. So it says, Facebook Live details. Corey invites Grant to participate in a Facebook Live presentation with Chris, an insurance expert, about a live on Facebook. Grant apologizes for the delay and informs Corey that Chris will not be able due to an unexpected surgery. Joanne will fill out the form to replace Chris in the presentation.
Nice. That's all the information I needed.
That's so crazy.
Needed gathered. But you're right. Being concise and being specific in your email. I don't care if you want to be their friend after you secure the sale. Securing the sale is what is the point of the whole thing.
And I think that's how the Susan Reed email does so well. It's like, hey, here's my event. Here's what I need. Here's the designs. Here's what's it's due. Here's what's due, when it's due. Here's where it's due. And here's how much I'm going to pay you.
Everything
all
you
in
need in
first
one
email.
little tiny thing.
And psychologically, as a baker, we never get inquiries like that where they're so great. That it's a quick response. Like, okay, sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we can kind of
learn from the read.
Lean on read.
Yeah, be concise. As much as they want to know that you found your first mixer and you made your first cookies at 12, and then the passion left you as you went to school and came back to you in your mid-30s when you had your first child and was staying at home. I love the story. That's a great blog post.
That is.
It is.
But Corey and we talked about this last week, her website, like, write in a way that only somebody who's buying would want to read it. So it's not about me, it's about how I can help you.
Right. So in your About Me page, a page on your website, we want to make it about them. But we're just calling it About Me.
Because that's what we expect.
Just because we expect
Because no one wants to click on About Thems. I would click on it.
What do you have to say about me?
So clear and concise communication really cuts through a lot of, like, I'll say this, when I sent out the Wednesday newsletter, also last week I was exceptionally sick. I ended up getting sick for the rest of the week. That little I don't feel good ballooned into whatever's this flu going on.
Yeah.
I have risen from the dead and I am back again, calls me Lazarus. So that when I send out the Wednesday newsletter, I get these auto responses.
You do.
I want to tell people, one, if I'm getting an auto response every week, just turn it off. Like, I'm getting I get every week, so it's not serving a purpose.
But aren't they assuming that maybe a customer is going to email them?
Right. But every time it's like, thank you for contacting us. I don't need that.
I know.
Right. Maybe if it has my next steps in it.
Okay.
But just the thank you, I just have to delete it every week. I'm about to unsubscribe you. You know who you are. The other time I get a massive wall of text as your autoresponder. And I'm like, if you're writing your emails that way.
Yeah.
No bullet points, no anything. Because I know if you use an autoresponder in Google, you still have options for formatting.
Yeah.
So we can say, here's your next steps. We can bold.
Yeah. paragraph full of text that isn't easy to digest means people aren't going to be digesting it. So you're going to be like, group, no one reads what I said. It literally was in my autoresponder. But like, would you read a wall of text? Probably not. So that's where instead of, wasting the communication and maybe just scrapping it, if you can do it in a way that's easy to digest, easy to read, it might work better for you.
Can we say it's easy to Susan read?
To Susan read.
Yeah, but I'm sorry. Now I've got PTSD. Is that recording?
Recording.
Big red dot?
Recording.
So a clear and concise communication. Here's in my site. So I'm doing the February freebies thing that we mentioned earlier, right? And every post is scheduled to go up at like 11, right? So I'm literally posting it the night before. It just goes up at 11. But every time I'm reiterating like, hey, if you don't know what this is about, we're doing a freebie February's file. In February, you have 24 hours. And it restates every single time.
Yeah.
What I've posted already 5 different times because nobody reads.
Yeah.
Nobody Susan reads. Mm-hmm. So you have to keep reiterating these really simple takeaways, and they're all on bulleted lists, and I have bolding, but you just have to clear and concise communication every time.
One time me and Heather messed up. I specifically think it was...
No way.
A lot of times we like to be jovial in our talks. We like use little fluff words, make a little conversation sandwich. So in one of our classes that we had for Christmas one year, we said, grab a friend and grab a seat.
Like, grab a friend and come on down. Like, it was like, grab a friend and I thought grab a friend and grab a ticket for them was implied. It wasn't. So some lady's like, grab my friend. I bought the ticket. She didn't, but you said to grab a friend and come on down.
And we were like, me and Heather's faces were like, but I had an extra set. It worked out in the end. But whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. Clear and concise.
That was
not
clear
concise.
And concise. There's too much in the marketing delightful AI word salad. And it cost us. They ended up, I think she paid there, and we had an extra DIY kit.
She did. It worked out.
Yeah, it was a test though. Sometimes Corey will only bake exactly how many attendees, not
I
even
love
to bake.
Play with fire.
Not even to decorate along with them. So we're like, what if? We just have to be like, I'm so sorry. If you guys were ever wondering what we'd probably do there, if someone showed up, let's pretend someone showed up and we forgot to bake their set. They already paid them.
Okay.
I would refund them that class and give them a credit for a free next class.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
I know what you guys are thinking, like, but you already gave them back their... No, we didn't give them back the time they wasted.
Yeah, they wasted a lot of time.
Money, but not their time.
Here's the thing. People have expectations. Those expectations can be pretty high, especially when we're like, our classes are so fun. And then they show up and their class is now no longer fun. It's not even a class at all.
Not only are you not having fun, you're having the opposite fun. Because you're not
it's unfun.
Yeah, I saw someone had asked, and they were like, I baked this whole set, and I decorated it. It was a pretty tough one because I whoever you posted it gave me pause for the rest of the day. She said the lady had ordered 2 dozen.
Okay.
I baked 1 dozen.
Yes.
I think that the lady had initially ordered the 1 dozen and then changed it to 2. What do you, like, the services were rendered and they were a high quality cookie decorating. I didn't see a picture of them. I'm just saying, like, the services were rendered but at 50% capacity. And she was like, I've refunded, or she gave the discount off the future one.
Here's my thing. Okay. I always think of it, you always lend to the... If I have a kid.
I know what you're going to say. If there's 24 people there and 12 people are going to be disappointed, how much is that worth?
I know. So if I'm tied to 12 people being sad, that's expensive right there. So what I suggest, I think I found the comment section if she was asking.
I just seen it when I went
up. And I said, you know what I would do is, while I couldn't make 12 royal iced sugar cookies, I could make an additional 12 drop cookies or macarons, something that could fill in space to save face, and I would bake those ones for free.
I'm going to say, what if she was leaving to go to the party? What would you do there?
Oh, I would do 100% free.
100% free?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then I'd be like, hold on, I'm going to go see what I got in the fridge. I gotta go see what I got in my freezer. I don't know. These ones have dogs on them.
Yeah, that's a tough one. That's a tough one because it was just, a clerical error.
It is.
And the client, I think, was very forgiving. But what do you do to repair that?
Well, you saw that last time that I had her dad was into football. Yeah. Baseball.
That
and
was,
he was a doctor.
The concise communication was lost on that one.
That was a loss of concise communication.
I really like the thought. Somebody had also another post. Someone's like, I have this client and she's extremely particular about like it was down to like where do you going to position the sun on this cookie? Like, it was something very specific. And someone had mentioned like, hey, she was like, and I want to schedule a call and I also want to stop with the change log.
Yes.
So I was like, yeah, bake into your future ones. We have 2 rounds of changes for people like that. But someone's like, call her and go through each one of these because make sure that it's in a call form and then say I'm following up in writing form. So that's clear and concise what the expectations are, so that if it comes back, well, this is what I wanted, you can say right here in this email is what we had agreed to.
I have 2 customers I love. I love when a customer knows exactly what they want.
Like that. The particular customers you're not going to mess up because they told you
that. I don't want you to be like, I really like if you use the Pandora purple, but do whatever you think is great. No, because that
you can't see purple.
Yeah. But I had a lady who was like, hey, can you make these, but can you change the dots into snowflakes? And I said, you know what? I can work with you because you know exactly what you want. And then I have people who are like, I don't know, do whatever you want.
I love what I don't like on.
Yeah, those people who are the middle who are like, I really don't like yellow, but whatever you think.
That's a rough one, yeah. So clear and concise communication is what Susan Reed is very clear. And that's why that cycle, it pings so nicely there because she's like, here's the 5 things you need to know to take my order. Yes. And we're like, absolutely.
I'm like, Susan Reed. Now I'm all like, that's way too good.
I know. If a client's too good, we're like, scam me. Amy had messaged yesterday and she was like, sometimes I'm worried that when we assume they're scammers and we're kind of that more curt thing and then they turn out not to be. Like, because we don't allow doxing in the groups, right? So doxing is when you post someone's full name, phone number, address, things like that. Stuff enough that I know who this person is. We don't allow it because in the past, in other groups, people have actually reached out to the client.
It's dangerous,
these things. So, but Amy's like, it's kind of hard when it's the scammer because they're asking if it's a scammer, and sometimes the name is a tell. Like someone's like, oh, that person messaged me. It's a scammer.
I know.
But what if it wasn't?
I know. He's probably like your best client you ever had. They're so concise. You know exactly what they want.
Probably this corporate order she wanted blue
like,
hearts with white stripes.
I'm on for you.
Probably there's a party planner out there somewhere. It's like, I can't find any bakers. I keep raising my rates. I'll pay them anything. And I keep telling them no. Last one, the biggest thing we can take away from Susan Reed, and this is one I want to take home all the way. If you learn one thing from the podcast today, it's steal money from other people. It's efficient following up. So I think that's part of how the scam works really well. When you got the script and it's just shooting out these emails, they're using internet scrapers to get your email address, and then it's sending out this email, right? Then when you message back, because it's always an interesting, I got to test to see somebody, the scammer awakens. And I think at this point, it's a real person.
I think it's someone taking over, like, scooch on by.
I don't think it's AI. I think it's a person.
Yeah, for sure.
They're very efficient to follow up because they want to get you to agree to this before you can check around to see if it's true or not. And I think therein lies the magic. Corey, when she wants to take fewer orders, she increases the distance from the time she communicates, in hopes that they'll find another baker, which is typically what happens.
Yeah.
If you want to secure more leads, be efficient in your follow-up. And I know people are like, well, I don't bake, I'm not on call for 24 hours. The baker who is on call for 24 hours is making more sales. For that reason, I don't agree with it all the time.
Yeah.
But it is definitely a way to secure more sales. If you're new to an area and you're like, I don't know how to get my name out there, be the first to reply.
Yes,
that is a great way when you're getting started. Well, I'm training them wrong. No. You can always change that later.
Yeah.
But if you're trying to secure more leads in a new area, be the fastest replier. I know a couple cakers in the area. Cakers? They're just real good at taking last minute orders, and that's where they've gone. I saw someone's like, oh, I forgot to place a cake order. Does anyone know? And then they tagged, it's Lucy Q. Yeah. They're like, she's great at last minute stuff, and that's a great way to secure leads that other people aren't taking.
I will say, when I was first starting out, and I was like, how do you break through? I'm not going to even call this area oversaturated. There's so many people.
It's oversaturated of people and bakers and more people and cars.
Yeah, but there's for every baker, there's 20,000 people. So like, it's not definitely oversaturated, but it's like, how do I break through a market where these people they've been there for so long? Like, how can I get my name out there? And I really built off of taking last minute orders. Those amazing bakers were booked out because they're amazing bakers. So they were willing to take a chance on me. My prices were just a tinge bit lower when I was starting out. So it was a win-win for us both.
People are going to think, well, what happens when Corey doesn't want to be the last minute baker? She's going to have a dip in the sales as the last minute people fall out of her funnel, and then she gains more leads.
Yeah, I get more of those consistent. The people who took a risk on me are now in my funnel, and they'll come back to me so I can build that up, and I'd be less of a last minute baker, but I could always refer them, hey, this is a new baker starting up. I hear she's the last minute baker.
Of these 5 tips, be consistent, don't take no, cold outreach, concise communication, stealing, just kidding, efficient follow-up. Which one is the most important, do you think?
Consistency.
I agree. Consistency is the biggest plague of the cottage baking industry.
And your consistency can look different from month to month, week to week, quarter to quarter. It doesn't need to be, I post every single day. And that's your consistency. You can post every single day. You can drop down to 2 times a week if you're full with orders, or if you're taking vacations and things like that. It's the full drop off where I've quit marketing, I've quit my social media, I've quit learning and all that, and then picking up one day and be like, but where's my sales?
We all took them while you were gone.
Yeah. But can you blame somebody if they were looking for someone consistent? You became inconsistent. They had to find someone more consistent. They have gone.
Corey and I always say, like, the bakers. Okay, we run the Cookie College, right?
Yeah.
And the people who forget to cancel their memberships, like, they're like, can I get a refund? Like, it's a no refund policy. Can I get a refund? Like, Corey's like, it's so funny. If their clients did that to them, what they're doing to us, it would be an immediate, can you believe they did this to me?
I know.
We as bakers want our service providers to be consistent.
Yeah.
If you are hiring an HVAC company, Corey,
no,
and
listen,
you don't show
what
up.
I learned in our little local group, if you have Verizon and Verizon goes out for an hour of time, they will be in that group. Is anyone else having issues with their internet?
So we as people, humans, we want consistency. And yet we're shocked when our clients leave us because we were inconsistent. But I'm sick, Heather. We have lives to live. I'm busy. And if you called 5 times to get your oil changed and only one of those 5 times they were open, you're going to find
and no one can blame you, especially when there's an expiration date on birthdays. Well, hey, I'm having tummy troubles. Can you give me another month? No, the birthday is this week. It's gotta go.
And you're gonna come up with a bunch of reasons why it makes sense to step back, but also come up with a bunch of knowing why you're not getting the leads in the slower months.
So consistency can look different. It doesn't need to be like you have to do everything all day, every single day. Consistency can look like, I drop my menu at the beginning of the month of what to expect this month, and then I post once a week thereafter. Totally fine. Totes fine.
Corey and I, it's so funny. Jen was like, hey, our cousin, she was like, can I see what classes you teach? And I was like, here. And she's like, all this stuff is already online. I was like, right, but we're consistently pushing it out for bakers. And it's more of like the twins will be there when we need help. The twins will drop the class kits in the first week of each month.
Yeah.
The twins will make sure that the group is clean and orderly. We're not the best and we're not the smartest.
I can't promise you the best quality content, but I can promise you
there will be content. It will be. And I think if you guys could just say, oh, wow, just being consistent. One of the Cookie College members messaged me over the weekend. She was like, I just want to let you know I've surpassed my sales over 22,000 this year. But I want to be like, and she was like, thank you so much for your help. But I want to be like, thank you so much for being consistent.
Yeah.
You are extremely consistent.
Yeah.
And that is why you're smashing your goals this year farther than you thought you'd be. And, when a baker's like, how do you guys get leads? Don't worry about anything but just being consistent, because that's pretty much what nobody else is doing in your area.
Yeah.
And that will set you apart.
Yeah.
Corey's community group, I can tell which company, they're just everywhere every week. They're consistently putting out. Of course, now they have to make the non-sales posts. They're going to force their hands. But I'm like, what? You're going to not fall out of memory.
You are consistent.
My memory, yes.
Right.
Everybody else's memory now. Okay. That takes us to Susan Reed.
Susan Reed. Star today.
Susan Reed. Anyways, if anyone emails you and your name's Susan Reed, don't take the email.
Don't take the email. If the email comes across and it's pretty vague but specific, and that's
if it's specific
weird.
about your area, warning. If everything else is vague except for the date in your area, warning. Okay, stupid questions. If you'd like to text in to win a stupid car toy, we'd love to hear your stupid question at 571-556-5644, or if you're listening to a podcast player that has a text the podcast button, that counts as well.
Nice.
Just click on that and it'll send it. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Choose a number.
6.
Last
but not least.
Hey, it's Deb again.
Deborah!
So we had read her text last week. She didn't win.
Yes.
But now
you have you saying, Deb. Is Deb being consistent?
Deb is being consistent. Deb said, I'm going to win a tray. And her odds were great this week because I got sick and I didn't put the podcast up till Friday. That Cookie College just flooded my brain, and now I have questions. Deb was in the Cookie College for 1 month. She got her money's worth. That lady was taking classes. I think you said that if your email signature is at gmail.com and you send group emails, my messages might go to the spam folder because it's free Gmail, right? So after listening to your Gmail course, if I bought a custom Gmail email and send a group marketing emails, will I always be in the inbox, or is it more about the open rate? Okay, first of all, Deb, congrats. You win the stupid card tray, and this is a great question. Deb, email me, Heather at sugarcookiemarketing.com with the rest. Well, it's you. I know who you are. Email me, and then I'll set you up with Phil, and he will get you a stupid card tray. And people are making those reviews for if you make if you own a stupid card tray that you bought with code SUGAR for 15% off, and you make a video about it, and you give Phil the review video, they'll send you the silicone mat add-on and the added cups.
Nice. In the Cookie College, there are different courses that are geared towards bakers. It's not how to bake cookies or how to make macarons.
It's really so not that.
It is for how to be more efficient in your bakery business. One of the main ones that people take it, when you're emailing a business and it'll be like CoreyMiracle@gmail.com.
Yes.
CoreyBakesCookies@gmail.com. It's not as professional as having hello@mixingbowlcookieco.com. So that is what Deb is referring to. Now, Heather is our techie person.
Right. So Deb's saying, I'm emailing, I'm going to just make this up. She's saying, I'm sending my emails I'm sending mass emails. She's sending more than a single email to Corey. She's sending it to all our clients from deb@gmail.com. She's saying, if I go to deb@deb.com, will I end up in inboxes there? Is that the guarantee? Is that the trade? The answer is no. Having a custom email is great for that social proof. Like, this is a true business. It makes you seem more professional. It's great. However, both the free and paid versions of Gmail, one's called G Suite, that's a paid one, and then Gmail as we know it, operate under these spam laws. You cannot and you should not send newsletters from your Gmail inbox. If that's where you're at, delete that email. We need to go through an email sender, a newsletter sender like Flowdesk or MailChimp. Somebody had mentioned this one. It was like some cute little name. I even had to ask her, is that like a typo or is that the name? It was like baking.com. It was like something cute. But those ones are made to try to get you into inboxes, and you're likely going to end up in the promotions tab. If you are subscribed to the Wednesday newsletter, it comes from hello@sugarcookiemarketing.com, and it likely ends up in the promotions tab where it's supposed to go.
Yeah.
And I know we're like, but nobody reads their promotions tab. Well, we are sending a promotion. We should be in our promotions tab. Now, when Heather at sugarcookiemarketing.com emails Deb individually about her stupid card tray win, I need to make sure that gets to your inbox, because that's the important one, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to write that as myself in my inbox, because it's going to one person who is expecting the email, who will open the email, and who will reply.
Yeah.
That's where she's talking about open rates. Now, if I send we have 8,000 people on our email list. If I send that as my email address in my inbox, I will be red flagged so hard, because a lot of people are like, who's Heather? I don't know.
Yeah.
Delete. And it's not going through all the checks that these newsletter senders have.
So what Heather ends up sacrificing is her very important Heather at Sugar Cookie Marketing email, because she used it to spam a bunch of people. If we're working with clients, you don't want to risk it for the biscuit. It's important to have that one email that is your client back and forth to stay at the top.
Right. So that invoice newsletter is my most important email, because money's attached to that one. So my newsletter, while it's important because it generates leads, that one ending up in the promotion folder, while it hurts my feelings, is as expected. But that invoice, the one that says, hey, Corey, click here to pay so I can bake your order, that one I need to make sure. So I need to protect the quality of my email. Now, email metrics, like what do I do? It's this hidden hush thing. Treat your email with respect. Treat the people who subscribe to your emails with respect by piping it through a newsletter. Someone had said, is it required that newsletters put your address at the bottom? Yeah, by law, you have to have I'm giving everyone my address. Then if you don't want to do that, you're not sending an email. Yeah. Or you can get a postal box, which you'll see at the bottom of our email addresses. So if I send an email, a newsletter in my Gmail, I don't have to follow any laws. I am breaking those laws. So you wouldn't want to do that. What was I going to say? I had a point to make. Newsletters, inbox, sending. I don't remember. But Deb, email me and I'll get you your stupid card tray. Thank you for being consistent.
Nice, Deb.
And also, thanks for taking all those Cookie College courses. I think you did a great job. Another one. Hey, twins. Oh, QP here. She's in the college.
Nice.
With a get to know you better question. What's your favorite kind of cookie? No shame if it's not sugar, because mine is snickerdoodle.
Ooh, honestly, I really do like snickerdoodle as well.
Really?
If I could get a big chocolate chip cookie, but it's got to be smushy in the center.
Does it have to be chunky size?
I like when they're thicker.
Yeah, I agree.
In a soft cookie, the ones we had at Nordstrom Cafe, did not like that.
I also think it's very unsafe. Very naughty. Mine. Okay, so honestly, I like it when you make your macarons with the overfill icing.
Yeah.
Love that. My generic guy,
Yes.
Cheryl's Cookies, which I'm actually waiting
So
on
that's a
box.
sugar cookie with buttercream icing.
An extreme
That is very
preservative.
good. I don't know
love
what you'd be doing.
I don't know what you're doing, Cheryl,
Cheryl.
but don't you stop. But I have a box on the way, but it's stuck somewhere.
I could really go for one right now.
Listen, the thought of it coming in the mail.
Isn't that just as sweet as having it in your mouth?
No, I'm suffering. I haven't been eating candy like it's going out of style because I'm waiting to like get these
Heather is our
cookies.
least favorite client. She buys old themes.
Did they see the snake in the video?
Old
in your
things.
video? In your video.
He's blurry, but he's there.
Someone was like, what's in the background? That's a big old guy.
Heather loves to buy a discount Cheryl's Barrels cookies.
Oh, I'm a passport holder, buddy.
You are.
I'm a passport holder.
you get
And a
free
stackable
shipping.
code on top of
How
that.
much does it set you back every time you order?
You pay one time for a passport
Yeah, but how
membership
much
for the year.
is your orders typically?
I get them on sale, and then I stack a code. So I buy something on sale, add a code. So this was 36 cookies, and I think it was $40 no shipping cost.
Oh, wow.
I mean, clearly they're making money.
Whatever.
But I love them.
They're delicious. And now they print on top. She must have gotten herself an Eddie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I saw that ad with the print on top of that. Yeah, it's printing on top of buttercream.
I know.
She did good.
I know.
It makes me go, I just cannot wait. That's a good question. Oh, I wanted to tell you what Heather Campbell Brookshire said about last week's
Yes.
question. She's Heather Campbell Brookshire. If you don't know her, she's a Disney trip planner. Corey and I assume she bunks with Mickey Mouse. I don't believe she lives in Texas, so I think in my head she lives in Orlando, happens to visit a home in Texas, but she's actually from Texas. She said, as your Disney expert friend, yes, I can confirm that all Disney employees are called cast members. So that means you can tell Corey you're right. Don't worry, I start my day that way.
Heather Campbell Brookshire. Who's your favorite twin? It was supposed to be me.
Yeah, she's other Corey.
Yeah.
Also, driving the monorail is hashtag life goals for me. Random fact, the current fleet has 11 different colors.
11 different colors. Here's what I learned when we were at Disney last time. The monorail doesn't go to every single sleeping place.
Oh.
Like little resorty place.
Hotel.
Hotel.
Sleeping night
place where you put your head at night.
Place where you rent bed from.
But I think the more expensive hotels you stay at have the monorail that goes through them because now you don't need any driving.
Well, that's what you paid for, buddy.
Yeah.
I love the monorail. If you could just park me in a monorail and I'll just see you when I see you.
I got us the place that was adjacent to the place with the monorail with the little walkover, remember?
You
When
remember
we
what it's
walked
called?
over. I cannot remember.
The
what
one
that
with the
so
monorail,
years
I know,
ago.
was under construction.
It was.
I'm sure we'll get a text about which one that was. It was the modern-y looking one.
It was.
Last one. Hey, ladies, no need to enter me into the stupid card trade giveaway, but I have a question about trademarking, which is actually a topic I've talked about this week. I have seriously been considering trademarking both my business name, my logo, and my original design a cupcake. Though I register in each state we live in, we're a military family and are always moving. Plus, I would be so sad if someone took claim to my original cupcake, and I have worked so hard on branding in the past year. What are your thoughts on trademarks? Worth the hassle? Worth the price? I'm interested to hear your take. First, trademark is for like text. So I don't think we can, pulling this out of my bun, I think that the cupcake would be a patent. And I'm going to say that that's far more complex than anything I've ever dealt with. So going to scrap the cupcake one. The logo, I almost think trademarking is still just the names. It was very, very specific when I messed up the application. So
Could it be copywriting the logo?
what's the R one? I don't remember. Don't quote me on the logo one. Actually, let's just Google it. Can you trademark a logo?
I'm sure
Yes, you can. U.S. patent trademarks. So great. Then the logo and the name is what we're talking about. My takeaway: waste of money. There's my takeaway. Now I did it. I filed it mostly because I was going to teach a class on it, and you see how that went. My class is hire an attorney to do it. It was $350 to file it yourself. If you mess up, they do not refund you. They just said you messed up, and they don't really tell you how. And then all these attorneys email you, and you're like, you idiot, you messed up. We'll file this for you correctly. And that is what I did. Now, every 6 years, we have to refile for it. Through that same attorney kind of monitors. And I was like, do we talk to you again? He was like, yeah, I'll message you in 6 years. As far as trademarking, the accountant that we have, he had actually had some friends go viral on TikTok, and they were a retired couple that travel. So they wanted to start a travel company.
Okay.
Or like a travel influencing company.
Okay.
And they hired a consultant. The consultant's like, because of the virality of your medium, you need to trademark your name, which protects your handles, right? So for that, I agree. But for hyper-local business, and even the accountants, like he's been in business 30 years. Like, I haven't filed a trademark for anything. Our dad doesn't have a trademark on his company. Our grandfather didn't. Now, we did it because we're working in the internet.
Yeah.
So for you, I'm going to say no. That'd be my personal take. If you did anything, just the name.
Just the name.
Right.
Yeah.
It was like very specific. It was like, you cannot trademark the word marketing. You can only trademark sugar cookie marketing as it appears together the 3 times, and then you have to continue to refile this.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
It's so beyond me. I mean, if you have a generic logo that you made that you love, I could see more people being apt to use something similar to it. But if you made like a super pin to you, like it's got your like name, your, our CAM in there, no one's going to take it, because it's so specific to me.
Right. Here's my other thought, right? So like Crumble cookies, if you name your business Crumble Not Cookie, they're coming after you. They're trademark. We're going to get this. Yeah. Now, what she's probably thinking of is, what if another baker enters my space and uses my name? You can try. They're fly by night anyways, because they didn't do the research to see that you're already there. Yeah. Okay, so you get an attorney involved. You get the trademark enforced. Then you have to message them, and they were going to close up anyways because they were only doing this for a month in Christmas time. You've gotten a lot of money involved for somebody that wasn't really in it to win it. So a great example is Baking It Down podcast. We trademarked Baking It Down because somebody else thought they would start a
Baking It Down podcast.
So there was 2 Baking It Down podcasts, and I was like, well, I had actually messaged them, and I was like, hey, just like it's the same name. I even gave them a Starbucks gift card. Like it was just 2 sisters, and they were kind of fun. Yeah. They were baking. And they were just gossiping together, which was kind of a cute thing. But I was like, well, this is really confusing, though, because they actually lived pretty close to us. 2 sisters, baking it down, Northern Virginia. But they only made 5 episodes, and that was 3 years ago.
Right.
So it wasn't. I never enforced the trademark. I never got the attorney involved to message them. So that's my takeaway for that one.
I know. That one's so beyond my scope of knowledge that I would almost recommend asking someone smarter than me and Heather about it. But also go in with
I think she's just asking about motivation.
Of what, doing it?
Of why should I do it? I don't want somebody to steal my cupcake.
If we look back at me and Heather's, we'd say no. Nar.
No, I think, I was talking to Ruth Ann about it, and she was like, well, it makes it seem fancier. And I was like, yeah, that's social proof. I'm trademarked.
Yeah.
We're trademarked. I don't even use a little trademarky little thing with a thing.
Get the Meta Verified thing and boot the page.
Yeah, maybe Meta Verified would be a better investment. Last one. Hello, my 2 favorite twins. Which one's your favorite? This is Jen from Nebraska. I just started my cottage bakery business last year. I have a website, but I get most of my business through my Facebook page. After the whole TikTok debacle, I realized I need to stop putting all my eggs in one basket, and I want to start growing my Instagram account. Right now, I have a whopping 6 followers.
Nice.
Laughing, crying emoji. I also don't have a ton of followers on my personal Instagram account that I can start with like I did when I launched my Facebook page. So where do I start? Should I do a giveaway on my Facebook page to have the entry be follow my IG account? What is the best way to make a splash to increase my followers on Instagram? Thank you so much for all you do for the cookie community. I have learned so much from you both over this year, and I really appreciate your knowledge, expertise, and humor. Cheers to 2025.
That's so nice. I want to say Heather has talked about it, the value of a follower. It's easy to get followers on TikTok because they're showing your content to a lot more people. It's harder, and I'm struggling with sourdough sellers. It's harder to get local audience on places like Instagram because they devalued how you can look up local hashtags. I think you doing a giveaway from your Facebook page to the Instagram to get those local followers over there is a fantastic idea. You can also look up like locations. So we live in Woodbridge, Virginia is where I live. I can look up Woodbridge, Virginia and start engaging with that content there. Unfortunately, it's content that could be a few years old, and sometimes it often is because what's happening in Woodbridge? Besides a pothole. Nothing.
Broad daylight shooting.
Yeah, so it's a lot harder, but you can engage with the people that are on there. You can start asking your clients to follow you over there. Hey, I'm going to give you a shout out.
I like the diversification. Now, she's going to end up with the same people on Facebook or on her Instagram, but in the worst case scenario that she loses Facebook, she has Instagram. Yeah. Another one, a great diversification there. If TikTok's where, you kind of got that realization is get their email address because that's completely separate from social media. Again, it'll be the same people, but we're reaching them in different ways because Corey's on TikTok a lot. I accidentally uninstalled it and can't watch it anymore. So
learned
anything
weeks.
being posted to TikTok, not a clue.
Yeah.
You cannot reach me. But you can reach me in my inbox, and then I silence my inbox all weekend, so you'll reach me on Facebook. So you can see that while it's the same audience, all her 6 people, she's going to be able to reach them in different ways. Now, I really like that giveaway. There's a podcast on the word giveaway, and it does trigger some scams, so definitely listen to that.
Yeah.
I just put dashes anywhere or put that text in the image. But yeah, pulling the user base around like that. You know, we have the group where we said 47,000 people.
Yeah.
But I only have 8,000 emails. But at least I have 8,000 emails. And then on Instagram or Facebook page, the 15,000. Can you guys see that? No, it's just out of real life. This thing is a likes counter.
Yeah.
15,000 on the page. That weird bloated 104 followers on the page. Still, they're the same people, but we're reaching them in different capacities.
Yeah.
Instagram, TikTok. I booted up the Threads thing again. Follow me on Threads.
I had kept it going. My consistency.
I'm having a chit chat with him. Amy replied to me. Some rando was like, "Hey, they have cookies. I love them." I was like, Threads added. They said they're at now 320 million active users. Mostly, they said because of the TikTok debacle.
Or do you think it's because they now can force your content?
No, they said, listen, we will be forcing Threads content everywhere. So brace yourself in 2025. We will make it
But now you can get paid through Threads too, so it's a marketing avenue.
I wonder. The fact that, so it's so funny, on Threads, it shows that Meta Verify tag, and that one's not one I paid for. It pulled it from Instagram.
Oh, they said, you know what, give me a little.
So I have a big old blue check there.
Nice, nice.
But it recommends, so like every time I sign on it, it's like, hey, you should follow Miss Cookie Packaging. The interesting thing is it can already see the connections on Facebook and Instagram, and it forces them on Threads versus starting a new Twitter X account or these Mastodon, or like to start that from scratch. You're getting the 6 people and you're fighting for each one. Threads is kind of making it, forcing it.
You can tell Instagram also, like, you can recommend this reel on Facebook. So a lot of times I see people's content from Instagram on Facebook. When I go to see what the comments are, it's like, go log into Instagram and you can see it.
In terms of growing a platform, this Meta conglomerate, the Meta umbrella, really does make easier, not quick.
No.
Not easy by any stretch. Easier work of cross-promoting. That. Thank you guys. If you want to text in for your chance at a stupid card tray, you can text in 571-556-5644. Use code SUGAR for 15% off. And Phil is still running the promotion. If you record a video with your review of a stupid card tray in action, which means you already had one, you send it to him, he'll send you the add-ons, which is the V3 tray.
Version 3.
And I bought all those. So I think it was like out the door. It's like, I think I had a coupon. Oh, you can stack that code SUGAR on any of their current promotions too. So
tell us, since you mentioned the Cookie College a few times, what is it?
Actually, because you guys are on YouTube people, not you people listening, you people seeing. I'm going to show you, people listening, I'm going to describe to you. I'm going to show you the cookie class kit that should drop in the next couple of days. I've been working on it. I'm almost done. Last year's cookie class kits, if you're in the Cookie College, it's a membership, like Deb said, to help you market more efficiently. So Deb is taking the classes. I saw her in the Instagram one. She was in the Gmail, creating a custom Gmail using G Suite for a more branded account. All that content is in this membership called the Cookie College. And there's 5 different tiers. The Cookie College being it gets everything. It's $76 a month. Below that is a Class Kids, which is all the curriculum you need to teach a class. You'll just order the cutters from Sweet Pink Olive, who we have a partnership with for those. And then it's all the marketing, promotion, copy, script, PowerPoint, everything you need to teach that class. Last year we did cats, because I was big into cats.
It was a very cute set.
Very cute set. And this year we have to honor and respect our dog people. So this is Canine Cookies.
It's adorable. It's adorable set. It rivals the cats to me.
And I'm going to show it to them right now. Okay.
Nice.
And if you are on the audio version of this, you can go click to the YouTube channel, subscribe, hit that subscribe button, like, comment, subscribe. But yeah, that'll drop this week. And I think it's very adorable.
It's adorable. The Cookie College gets everything. So we have 5 different memberships. You have the $2 transfer club. You'll never guess. It's $2.
It's $3.
The digital downloads, which Heather's revamped. It's actually really, really nice. I really like the change. We have the Better Business Bureau basics of bakers.
But you can get a discount code. Listen, here's the Baker's Business Basics. Corey loves to poo-poo on it. It's the foundational 13 courses plus a $2 transfer club. The foundational 13 courses to get you started in the right direction. It is bare bones. It is the basics.
It is the basics.
At the end of it, my goal with the BBB was that you're only in it for a month. It's $36. But at the end, the last course is a discount code to get the Cookie College for $68. My way of saying thank you for doing the foundational work so that you don't have to go to college and get overwhelmed.
Yeah. So you might be saying, well, what's the difference? If the college gets the class kits and there's the class kits, what's the difference? If you are a pro at teaching classes already and you just hate having to sit down and come up with the theme and idea and the content around it,
and the marketing and the photos and the copy and the social media posts.
The class kits is for you. That's $63 a month. And when you sign up, you get whatever has been.
So you get the January class, which was the New Year's.
Can't
really use that one.
Valentine's Day.
And then now you'll get
the stock theme
class. And then let's say you sign up, and I'd recommend this if you didn't need to teach a class right now. Sign up the third week of February, because then you'll snag the March class, which is Mother's Day.
Right. So if you already are good at teaching classes and you just want to take the time and effort out of it, the cookie class kit's for you. If you're thinking, I've never taught a class, I don't even know where to start, the Cookie College is what's for you. It has how to approach a venue in a way that is beneficial to you both.
That's actually just you fill out, just replace it with your information.
Yeah. So how to contact a venue. You get the private Facebook group to ask those burning questions like, hey, here's what the venue said back to me. What do you think? Is that a good dealio?
Where can I pivot here? I think they're asking for too much. How can I word in that I still want to work with them, but I don't want to pay them 50%?
I know what goes into teaching a class, but I'm visual and I just want to see a cookie class actually being taught. We actually filmed one of our cookie classes so you can actually watch it. Me and Heather, when we first started cookie classes years ago, had a class script. We still go by it to this day. Now it's memorized though. But we give you the class script so you can either go off of it or you can edit it to you, but it's something that's going to help you. So if you're like, I don't know where to start, but I want to teach classes, the Cookie College is for you. Plus you get all the other courses, the class kits, everything that goes into it. So there's 5 different memberships. You can go to thecookiecollege.com, check those out. The dog one drops February 7th. You're going to love it.
It's cute. It's cute stuff.
Positively adorable. Fetching, some say.
Keep going. You need to write this down. I'm going to call it Canine Cookies.
It's adorable.
That took some brain functioning.
It did.
I was like C-Spot Bake now.
C-Spot, right?
I was like, C-Spot was from when we were kids. I think we were going to lose Gen Z.
Yeah.
So that is the Cookie College. You can check it out at thecookiecollege.com. Sign up for the month, and it's $76 unless you do the Baker's Business Basics. Sleight of hand here. If you sign up for the Baker's Business Basics, let's pretend you did, and you got that discount code, and you happen to know that there's a loophole in the system where you can switch over your plan and pay a prorated amount and not be double billed, you could essentially get the college for $68 right now.
Don't tell them that.
You could do that.
Don't.
But I would never tell anyone to do that.
All right, going on to our sponsors. Without our sponsors, you would have nothing to see or watch, which, according to my husband, would be nice.
When I was doing the February freebies, look, he's about to shed. He's yawning. I'm sorry, you guys get to see the.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, that's okay. Little snake facts here. He's been in blue.
Was he yawning?
He's trying to break the skin around his lips. That's how they start shedding. So he'll do it for a couple times, and then he'll run his face up against that log he's on.
Oh, I'm disturbed.
So it's like, and this is good for people to learn about reptiles. Imagine that you put on. Like a control garment. What do they call those?
Girdle.
It's girdle. And it's too tight.
Yeah.
And you're like, wow, what I wouldn't give if this was just one size up. That is exactly what that snake feels right now. So he was like, you can see he's going to start rubbing his nose and everything. He's trying to essentially take off a pantyhose with no arms.
Oh, poor guy.
So you have to do it. So he's going to shed inside out, starting at the mouth, and then go all the way down to the tail, and it feels less.
When you got him, they said, this guy's done shedding.
He was not done shedding. No. Now he sheds twice a year, which means you're out of your growth cycle. He was shedding every 2 months.
Oh, so now he's just a normal.
Now he's full grown.
Oh, he's full grown.
Yeah, so snakes snakes have a growth capacity, but when you feed them when they're younger, they can grow a lot longer. That's actually a girl, and girl snakes are larger than boy snakes because they have to have babies.
But Heather rescued him, so he had some life lived.
Yeah, he had a respiratory infection one time, which is the #1 killer of a pet snake. And we rehabilitated, had parasites, had to take a snake to the vet. It was a wild experience. And now we lived together for 9 years.
Yeah.
Many a shed.
Could never be me. Could never be me.
So if you're horrified about snakes, do not watch the YouTube video today. But if you like them, they're pretty interesting pets. You only have to walk it never, and it only poo-poos every 6 weeks.
I know. And you get no love from it, but you do have to clean up its excrement. It's the worst pet on earth.
I'm not going to tell you to get one. I'm going to say, though, if you don't want to get stuck walking the dog, maybe the snake's your next best bet.
All right, going on to our sponsors. First is the Backers Co. I actually did a staging video reel this week for you guys because we were like, you never tell us how to stage. You just say we need to.
I think I put a screenshot in the video last week of you staging it in Sourdough Cellars.
Oh, nice. Oh, yeah. So if you wonder what I use to take my photos on, it is the Backers Co. backdrops. The ones that I get are 23 by 23. She actually has larger ones for cake people that need it a little bit taller because you're doing tiers. Not layers, tiers. So they're just a little bit higher, but I get the 23 by 23 ones. It comes in a myriad of colors, wood grains, solids. My go-to is white matte finish. If anyone asks me, I always say start there. You can dress it up, you can dress it down, but you can do something like pink for Valentine's Day. They had red, which would be for Valentine's Day or Christmas.
Oh, very nice.
They had a gorgeous evergreen green that was good for.
I feel like if you did pink, you could do Valentine's Day, Easter.
Yes, you could do Easter. Yellow.
So I'd recommend, Corey recommends this, start with your basics, start with your white matte finish, and then add maybe your secondary pop.
A secondary pop or a secondary wood grain. I've, in my sourdough era, have realized I really like when there's a wood grain involved.
Because that feels homey. When you think of homemade, you think of brown.
Weedy.
Right. You get those tan, those browns, and it makes you feel fresh and loved.
Yes. The reason why I scouted them out a few years ago is because they are food safe, and that is huge when it comes to using.
Didn't you cold email her too?
I did cold email. I cold stalked her,
and now we've been
actually bought one before she even knew who we were.
We've been in a warm relationship for years.
We have been in a warm relationship. They are great. You can use code SUGARCOOKIE singular, save 20%. Actually, can you go? She actually sent me an email that I want to read.
Okay, I got that.
Dealio. Do you
want me to talk? You want me to look up the email because I got copied to win it?
You got copied to win it? Who can get that?
I got it. Hello, girls, and Happy New Year, starting 2025 with new enthusiasm and vitality. I like this. Although I have broken my wrist, at least I have my left one. First of all, thanks for the video. Okay, we wanted to let you know that we're preparing to offer Valentine's Day, which is this. This is a promotion. Buy 2 backdrops and get the brackets for free. It will be valid throughout the week until 12 p.m. on February 14th.
So what the L brackets are, the backers come flat, but if you want to create a whole scene.
Which you do in that Sourdough
I
Cellars
do.
group.
Did
you post that in the group?
Brackets. I posted it in the Sourdough Cellars group.
So join the Sourdough Cellars group.
Yeah. Create these L brackets, and it kind of gives you a whole scene. It gives you a horizontal and a vertical backdrop. It's really, really nice. So if you order 2 backdrops now.
But I gotta read the rest of the sentence. I just said it. Use code SUGARCOOKIE. Get 20% off.
Nice.
So this stackable.
Nice.
Code SUGARCOOKIE. Buy 2 backers. Get the brackets free. So you've already saved 20% off. Free backers. But she says white matte finish is sold out, but you can, or white super matte finish is sold out, but you can pre-order and count for these discounts.
Nice.
So yes, you can get the one Corey just said. You can get it for 20% off with code SUGARCOOKIE. No plural, all caps. Buy 2, like she recommended, and you get the brackets for free. And that will run until 12 p.m. I think she's Eastern Standard Time on February 14th, 2025. So.
Yeah, I love those L brackets. You can lose them if you don't keep an eye on them, but I've, for some reason, had my set for years
Do you kind of have to have them?
To do that standing
you
up,
have to
you do.
Because you wouldn't want to lean it. Listen, nothing's more frustrating than your setup falling on your cookies.
Yeah, no, they're godsend. They're small, but they're mighty. I really do like those.
Small but mighty. We have, that is AE Core Backers rebranded to the Backers Co. The discount code is SUGARCOOKIE. We have Stupid Card Tray as a sponsor. They sponsor the Stupid Text, but that's code SUGAR. 15% off stackable. You can leave a video if you want them to send you some free stuff. Don't know how long that's going, so cash on it now. Then we have Eddie, the edible food printer. It's a direct food printer. No discount code there. He ain't cheap, but he is going to pay for himself and then some. Great. They have some payment plan options. There's an interest rate, so consider that. But if you were like, 2025 is my corporate girly year, go check out the Eddie Printer Users Group on Facebook. Tons of inspo. Tons of updates.
And he's
products.
great for things that aren't corporate. Like I saw a ton of people using them for PYOs, paint your own cookies, which has been fantastic. And now a lot of Etsy shops are providing the graphics for those.
Lots of that. So a lot of, in the world of baking technology, that is one of the advancements. Yes. Now I've been tracking their Freddy thing. They said that there's some production difficulties. They're looking at the end of Q1, beginning of Q2 for people who've already bought them. There was some pre-order.
Oh, people. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. Last but not least is Royal Batch. It is a meringue powder. It is actually the one I use. She's running a discount too, I believe.
Let me see. I'm going to actually pull it up.
Yeah, she's running a discount for a while.
I threw
it's like long in the discount code. It actually comes with 3 ingredients already in it, something that you would probably add to it, which is corn syrup for a soft bite, vanilla extract for a delicious bite, and then white food coloring so it whips up bright white as well. So that is Royal Batch, and it's made by a company called Bakety Bake.
I'm going to tell you this because we usually do 10% off. That's what her code for the podcast is, but she is running 20% off until the 8th of February.
February 8th, so you got 4 more days, folks.
You got midnight Pacific time Sunday. The code is LOVE20, love20, all caps. That's 20% off. If you're listening to this in post, you're not going to hear this. So this is February 8th at midnight Pacific time. That expires. Code LOVE20, 20% off. That's 10% more than you usually get.
Yeah, if you buy, she has now little tester packets. If you want to buy those at a discount, resell them in your cookie classes.
Okay, let's see. You got a 5-pound. Let me see. Make sure the code works. Oh, yeah, we did. So a 5-pounder, that thing's $135. With that code LOVE20, you get it for $108.
Nice.
Not bad. If you were thinking of switching, now would be that time. She never really runs 20% off. No. During the vending blade, she did that 25%, which was the first and last. So, yeah, that is baketyBake.com, the royal icing of Corey's dreams.
Dreams alive.
Are you pushing this podcast along? Because Nate said we seem discombobulated and disorganized.
Yes. Yeah.
But you remember the first ones were very organized. Nobody liked those.
No, we were reading off of a script.
We had
I will say the one he tuned into, we didn't have the list. We're good listers.
Was it last week's? I was dying.
Yeah.
I was mortally wounded.
So now when he listens to this one, he's going to be so
You think he's going to listen to this? Nate, if you listen to this, text me grape head.
Grape head.
Was it tomato head or grape head?
Grape. If he's going to listen to this, he did say his head felt very tiny this week.
You have a very large head.
Do you have a Twinterest?
My Twinterest, I haven't done too much because I was out of commish all week. Mm-hmm. You know what? I'm going to tell you this. Ashley wanted me to draw her cherries. I've been trying to push myself.
That looked great.
Corey is making my family encourage me, and they have been encouraging, to learn Procreate.
Yeah.
And I get why some people, and I'm sorry, I'm just a spectator here, don't be offended. I get why some people say it's cheating because there's so much ability to fix problems.
Listen, it's called a brush with water on it. That's
you people who are painting on canvases who can't fix it. I don't know. Good luck. That's insane. But with Procreate, there's a lot of ability to fix issues and just using layers and stuff, which is kind of how I work in Photoshop is with these layers. So I've been taking classes online, free YouTube Art with Flow. She's got a ton of free courses. And so Ashley was like, hey, I wanted this background for my phone with these cherries on it, but it was such a low pixelated image. She was like, can you recreate it? And I'm going to brag on myself. I would love to credit the original artist. I don't know. I'm not referring to myself as an artist, but you want to imply that. But here was the original, which was super cute.
Adore.
And here was the recreation, which is pretty good. But I had to download brushes.
Face it to me and go from the first one to the second one.
One. There, I just overlaid the one and made the other. So the original artist was... But I said, okay, the original artist had this watercolor texture.
Yes, she did.
Well, in Procreate, you kind of don't have that ability unless you buy these brushes.
Isn't that the big thing, is buy the brushes?
Buy the brushes, which is kind of how you can also buy brushes and stuff in like Illustrator and stuff, a little bit more advanced. Yeah. But I was like, okay, let me buy a brush on my iPad.
How much is a brush?
Well, I bought that pack from, I Googled watercolor brushes, but Etsy sells them too. I mean, they can range from free to $20. I paid $20 for the brushes for that. Wow. And it came with the watercolor texture pack. So to add that
crazy to think canvas, like something that's electronic.
It is weird how it works. And when you draw with it, you're like, this is weird. But it kind of works like paint.
That's hilarious.
Like watercolor. Like where
it looks just like it. Good.
Corey makes everybody encourage me. And I like,
my twin twist is I went to Sur La Table in Tyson's.
Tell people, okay, so Sur La Table is spelled Sur La Table.
It is.
And there's two malls here. One for the poors, me and Corey, and one for the riches, and that's called Tyson's too, where the Sur La Table is, right?
Yes.
So Corey walks in, and malls are kind of like, so she asked this couple, like, hey, where's the Sur La Table? And she was like, Sur La Table in the back. And then Corey's like, I could hear the husband say, honey, it's Sur La Table. So how did you like it?
It was a 3-hour-long class.
You said a little too long because there was no chairs.
It was long because there was nonstop something you had to do.
That's
I
good.
will
That's
say
like what you paid for.
It's so good to take a class after teaching classes to remind you.
Corey sat down at lunch. He was like, here's the things we're doing wrong. Like, here's the things that we're doing to these poor people who come to our classes.
I know. So I thought it was very light. And granted, we're teaching sugar cookies, and this was macaron start to finish, like from the beginning to the end. So it's a very different class, but she did a fantastic job. To have 13 people and we were all like silently staring at her, she did an amazing job. We made chocolate macarons, ganache, a Swiss buttercream. I thought it was fantastic.
I ate them. They were great.
They were delicious.
Yeah.
And then I got her recipes after the end, so I thought it was fantastic.
If anyone is ever listening, if you've ever taught at Sur La Table, I'd love to know the cash breakdown, like, because that was a really nice kitchen.
The kitchen, so they just had remodeled. It didn't have a kitchen before 6 months ago. So they just started offering classes here. So it was a great
for the Sur La
location.
Table. That's the way our local cake supply shop works. You can take a class and then you get the discount to
you
shop.
get 10% off to shop, and they had anything for sourdough, for baking, cookies, absolutely everything that were there. And someone was always there to help you. So I thought it was absolutely great. She had assistants, which a dream. I could dream.
I'm your assistant.
You are my assistant. So I thought it was great to have mixers going, to have 6 different mixers on at one time.
You said they were old, so there's a little bit of clanging, so it was hard to hear.
Yeah, so when she turned on the AC, instead of it being a quiet AC, it was a
trying to truly get this.
And then we had to do the mixers on top of that. So she did have to come around to, because you couldn't just yell the question at her.
Was there a TV? Like, could you project?
No TVs whatsoever. It was definitely just a kitchen feel in there.
Okay.
Yeah, but she did a fantastic job. If you wanted to take a class, they have so many classes at Sur La Table.
That's
true. Is it a national chain?
Oh, yeah. There's so many.
They're everywhere.
Yeah.
They have macaron classes are their biggest one, but they have savory stuff. Like you could learn how to do knife work with a roast. They have bread classes there.
Okay, there's a ton. Evening in Paris.
Yeah.
How that thing is going to be Sur La Table and be spelled Sur La Table is ridiculous. Thai flavors, and it's chicken pate.
Yes, savory
flavors
stuff.
of Italy, perfecting French pastries, mastering filled pasta, tour of Spain, croissant connoisseur, Be Mine macarons. Is that
she
it?
teaches all the macaron classes, so if you go there, she's the one.
That looks delectable. Italian pasta and desserts of Italy.
I know. I think I would go back to learn how to make a pasta. It would be so much fun.
That would be. I love stuff like this that exists. Although I didn't go and shop them all.
But it was fantastic. I loved what I learned. I took away a lot from it, so I can't wait to try it again when I get home.
What's like French one thing you learned?
The French method.
Like, what's one thing you're like, oh, I wish I knew that my whole life.
I wish I knew. She let them rest for an ungodly long time before she put them in the oven. Yeah. And I'm usually more like, we got things to do.
For some reason, and that's why I like the sugar cookie marketing group. Like, there's some like such obvious things that you're like, I wouldn't know it's so obvious until someone says it, but I need someone to say it.
Yeah. If I had to say like what we don't do that we need to do is directions for everything. When someone walks into our cookie classes, we need to say, oh, your name is Cheryl. Cheryl, here's your seat right here.
You always pick up Cheryl as a
I like
random
Cheryl.
name.
Cheryl Barrels.
Cheryl, send me my cookies.
Direction is everything because we're just blobs in the wind if no one's telling us what to do because it was such a foreign space.
True.
So I was like, oh, where do I go next? But when she told you, here, be right here, then it the confusion was.
Good to know. I got to take it back, pen and paper.
Yeah, I thought it was fantastic.
That takes us through this week's podcast. Thanks for listening and watching.
Thank you, Nathan.
We will see you again here next week.